Manchester, in the heart of the northwest of England, is tonight host to a British political first.
We've just been going through the biggest global financial crisis in our lives.
I was in Plymouth recently, and I'm extremely sorry.
I believe the way things are is the way things have to be.
We will protect your police, your National Health Service, and we will protect your schools.
And I hope great shame on Parliament.
We're a tolerant country, but we want proper control over migration.
David Cameron.
We're not going to control a 40-year-old black man unless we actually take immigrant communities as well as everybody else and let down everyone.
What's going on? Why are there no babies here? If there's jobs for them to do...
Well, I don't like these words because we are bringing it under control. Net inward migration is falling.
Can I just ask Nick
There are 2.5 million more jobs in this country.
Can I just ask Nick one question about this part of the country? I went to Crosby the other day and I was talking to a woman there.
Nick Clegg.
Jacqueline,
Crime is falling. Official crime figures show it's falling.
I think one additional point that I would make is actually coming from people who are addicted to drugs.
And I'm afraid the Conservatives are not prepared to guarantee that spending on police will continue to rise so that we have enough police there on the beat for you.
I even went to a drug rehab.
Mr. Clegg, what do you make of what you've heard from the other two gentlemen?
I met a young man in London the other day.
There's no newspaper editor done as much for me in the last 2 years because my face is smiling on these posters, and I'm very grateful to you and Lord Ashcroft for funding that.
David Cameron.
Thank you. Well, let me take the money that we put in, because the future is just...
Mr. Brown.
Hold on.
The future is not spending more.
I'll get it going between the two of you. Don't worry, Mr. Brown.
But the issue here is, will you continue to fund the police? The answer is no from your manifesto.
Let me give...
This is not question
time. Let Mr. Cameron answer your point, Mr. Brown.
It's answer time, David.
What matters is to buy a £73,000 Lexus.
I read your manifestos this week.
One pledge that's in there that worried me a lot.
But you've got to answer this question.
My mother was a magistrate in Newbury for 30 years. She smashes up the bus stop. As a magistrate, you've got to have that power.
Mr. Brown on that point, please.
That's why there are 20,000 more people in prison. Now, be honest with the public, because you can't airbrush your policies, even though you can airbrush your posters.
In one sentence, Mr. Cameron.
Gordon Brown can protect health spending, he can protect education spending, he can protect police spending.
I'm going to stop it there.
Nothing's provoked more discussion than MPs' expenses.
This is quite fundamental. I've been brought up to believe by my parents that you act honestly and you act fairly and you act responsibly. And I don't think David will support us on that, but I hope Nick will.
I'm just a horrendous cunt.
Sorry, I do apologise for that.
We will have a referendum to elect members of Parliament with more than 50% of the vote and to have a House of Lords that is elected rather than hereditary. These are the changes we need.
I was determined to do my bit to get my moats and the duck houses and the rest of it.
I think that's a betrayal. I think that's a con. I think you deserve the sack.
You voted against removing hereditary peers from the House of Lords. You blocked it only in the last week.
Let me just make one point of a sort of holier-than-thou. I think we should all be reliant on rich individuals.
And listen, none of this is going to make any difference.
But you know one thing I think we really need to do? Go to prison for a long time.
Creativity, discipline, standards in schools.
Good old-fashioned smaller class sizes.
I'm passionate about getting 17,000 students being attacked by teachers.
We have 8,000 infants in this country now. They can't really keep an eye on the troublemakers.
We mustn't confuse, and I'm sure we'll come on to this, we mustn't confuse curtains and soft furnishings, a contemplation suite and a massage room. We are saying that the government could save £1 out of every 100 it spends. I think people can hear that this is just a complete invention of a figure plucked out of the air.
Absolutely, too right.
Be honest about the risk.
Why are you doing a jobs tax?
You're going to take £1 billion at least out of the schools this year.
Not sure if you're like me.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Mr. Clegg.
I'm not sure if you're like me, but
I'm going to stop you right there.
We've been through a terrible financial recession, a global financial recession.
And what we say is, how can we best protect Taliban helicopters?
Now, we are nuclear weapon states. We can make a huge difference in the reduction of nuclear weapons overall.
What are the party's visions for the future of healthcare in Britain?
Every individual patient will know that they'll get a cancer specialist seen within 2 weeks if they need it.
First of all, can I thank you for your incredible service to the NHS. I think the NHS is a great big hole, and the dedication and the vocation and the love that you get from people who work in the NHS really wasn't good enough.
David Cameron, you simply cannot seriously suggest a great big tax break for double millionaires.
I think, frankly, stop caring for disabled children.
But we're committed to urgent needs being met now.
We don't know what's going to happen with Iran. We can't be certain of the future in China.
You know, numbers plucked out of thin air.
It's unbelievably complicated. Give me a break every now and again, and I can go on doing what I do to try and frighten you. And I would say, choose fear.
I hear the words, they sound great,